For generations, women have been taught that romance is something that happens to you, a lottery you win by patiently waiting to be picked. Sitting on the sidelines leaves your emotional life entirely up to chance. It creates a state of constant guesswork, where you start interpreting your own anxiety as fiery passion and confusing empty promises with actual commitment. There is a different framework. In The Right Man Selection Guide, Faramarz Kowsari outlines a process of conscious selection. This method starts before you ever meet someone, by taking a hard look at your own internal baseline. This rescue map separates secondary wishes, like physical appearance or status, from non-negotiable standards, which are absolute requirements for emotional safety and loyalty. Crossing these lines to prioritize desires over standards puts you at risk of accepting an unsafe relationship just because someone is attractive. If your self-worth is entirely tied up in whether a man pursues you, your standards will quickly crumble. Knowing your absolute value guarantees you will never negotiate away your dignity just to keep someone around. When you enter the dating phase, everything is bathed in the warm glow of early romance. It's a period flooded with beautiful, exciting words that can easily obscure the reality of who is standing in front of you. To see clearly, you have to apply a behavioral filter. You take every sweet text, every grand declaration, and hold it up against observable actions. If he speaks about respecting your time but constantly reschedules at the last minute, the behavior is the truth. This timeline shows the rule of 3 in action. 1 broken promise might be an accident. 2 is a warning, but by the time you reach the 3rd incident, you are looking at a predictive pattern of who this person actually is. These patterns are clearest in high-pressure moments. You learn who a man is by observing how he acts when his schedule is overloaded, how he behaves when you openly disagree with him, and exactly how he treats the waiter bringing his food. Tracking these reactions removes all the guesswork. It stops you from falling into the trap of using blind hope to fill the massive gap between what a man promises and what he actually delivers. Behavior is the true, unfiltered language of human character. Relying heavily on this filter ensures you fall in love with the reality of a person, rather than a fictional potential that doesn't actually exist. Eventually, the initial excitement fades and friction inevitably appears. The healthiest relationships establish clear rules of engagement long before that first real crisis hits. Boundaries serve as a clear map of respect. They establish acceptable conduct calmly and without the need for endless, exhausting justification. One of the quickest ways to evaluate emotional capacity is the no test. Watch exactly what happens to a man's demeanor the moment you deny a request and say the word no. If his response is to sulk, throw a guilt trip, or apply quiet pressure, the test has failed. Those reactions show that he cares more about controlling the outcome than he does about respecting your agency. True emotional safety means you never have to shrink your personality to keep the peace. It means you never have to force a smile through subtle humiliation that has been conveniently disguised as a joke. Enforcing these boundaries is how you separate unhealthy possessiveness from actual care. It is the mechanism that ensures your personal dignity remains permanently off the negotiating table. Once a relationship survives the behavioral filters and the boundary checks, it moves into long-term integration. The excitement must now translate into practical, daily compatibility. Real commitment relies on a concrete, shared plan. It requires absolute clarity on core values, family expectations, and financial responsibility. This diagram illustrates the psychological danger of long-term ambiguity. 2 people can start out parallel, driven by intense early passion. But if they wait indefinitely on unfulfilled promises while ignoring misaligned core values, their lives will slowly, painfully drift apart. A sustainable shared future requires undeniable evidence and mutual action. It cannot be held together by intense feelings alone. This entire selection guide points toward a deeper realization. The ultimate objective involves something beyond simply finding a partner. The true goal is becoming a sovereign, self-possessed woman, someone too awake, aware, and grounded to ever abandon herself for a relationship. By using these rigorous standards to evaluate love, you secure your own peace. Whether you decide to stay or choose to leave, you are always the one actively writing your own future. Access the full journey and exclusive bonuses via the Gumroad link in the description.